everyone, and welcome to another episode of G&A Podcast. I am your high school love guru, Soberoni, joined by...
And I am the newest underground group found in Academy City.
One of many.
Drew. Also, that's my name, Drooby-Doo.
Yes. It fits perfectly. And today we're here for another lovely week of anime. With a big switch up in our show lineup. So I just want to announce that off the bat. We were watching Tenshiga Mayorita, but it was... I'm going to keep watching it, but for the sake of the podcast, it kind of isn't the juiciest show to talk about.
Yes, all these lolicon slice of life shows are boring as fuck.
No,
and
they're
wants
great.
To hear
They're
about
great
it.
and
no
cute.
one wants to hear us talk about it.
So we're changing that up for another comedy, which
we're dropping it,
which all of you guys have suggested, which is Kaguya-sama. So we watched the first episode of Kaguya-sama, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, let's talk about Tate no Yuusha, the Shield Hero, episode 2.
So basically, this episode is like a major turnaround from like the first episode, which I kind of really like that because it's like, okay, he's not like, he's still like a dick, but not. I can't call him a dick. I can't even call him a dick. Like, he's just, understandably, all dark and whatever.
I feel like he's really, like, I like his personality because, yeah, he can be a dick. He's like a hard ass, but
yeah,
he's just, I don't know, he's like a complex character because, yeah, he still kind of cheats and well, not cheats, but he threatens people and is aggressive because he has to get his way. But he also obviously has like a very loving, tender, caring side where he takes care of Raphtalia very well. So I don't know, I just feel like he's super relatable to me. Also, it's nice to have him not be super OP and have to rely on basically a little girl to fight his battles for him.
He's like, I literally can only put up a shield. You have to stab him in the face or we're going to die.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He reminds me a lot like Batman, like relationship between like Batman and Robin.
Like Batman and Robin, but imagine all the fighting that Batman does is replaced by Robin.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially.
Yeah, I can see that. Also, I love Raphtalia. She is my favorite loli, I think, this year. Well, the year just started, but so far,
yeah, right.
Favorite loli of the year, Raphtalia. She's precious, and I just want to hug her and pet her ears.
There was so much blood in this episode.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. There's a lot of blood.
Like, a lot of blood. Like, were you okay with it, Oni? Because that bunny just kept scoring blood. Like, it was the blood from the bunny that was like, wow, okay.
That was like an Easter bunny, but instead of being filled with caramel, it just blood.
Yes, got blood and guts everywhere. Like, everyone, by the end of killing that little dumb bunny, like, there was just blood everywhere. Like, they were just covered in it.
I think that bunny bled more than the dog at the end.
Exactly. Or just like a decent amount of blood, but like, I don't know, it was just lots of blood.
What I really liked about this episode too is or the show in general, is it shows how he's making money. Like, oh, I can't fight things, so I'm just gonna make medicine and herbs and sell, the monster bodies that we kill, like the rabbit, for coins. So it's like one of those little things that is a good attention to detail, and it's like, now I understand how the economy in this world works and how they're managing to, scrounge by.
Yeah, it makes the whole world come more alive when I watch
it.
Yeah, it was good episode 2. Yeah.
I like their relationship too. I'm looking forward to seeing more of their cute interactions with each other.
Me too. I'm actually looking forward to him getting more people in his party. Although that probably won't happen until like 2 or 3 episodes from now.
Yeah. I wonder if the other heroes are gonna end up ever joining his party or being more friendly towards him.
Probably not.
Or if they're all just gonna die a horrible death.
One can only hope.
Yep.
Yeah. But I think that's all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
Not much.
Hopefully next week we'll have a bit more action. But yeah, this is all set up. So far the setup is going well. Let us move on.
Okay, let's go to what I think is probably going to be my episode of the week.
Same.
Kaguya-sama.
Yep.
This whole show is just really funny. It's very over the top. Very... When Oni first told me about it, I was 100% sold. Like, it was like, oh, it's gonna be like Death Note. And I'm like, it is. But to be more specific, if Death Note was a comedy and L and Light were like each other's romantic interests.
Well, they are, but even more so if it was romantic. But yeah, no, that's the perfect way to describe it. This is Death Note, but as a romantic comedy. Because I was expecting when people were telling me, like, oh yeah, it's going to be over the top and it's going to have all this, like, you know, mind games and stuff. And I'm like, all right, it's going to be cute and interesting. Nope. This shit went, like, it goes hard with the mind games.
It really does.
Like, the first scene where the movie tickets, and you find out Kaguya set up the whole fucking thing, that's some light level manipulation.
Right, the whole movie thing. Yeah, that was so funny. And the number thing, getting the phone number.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the second episode was great.
That's so funny.
I love the characters, too, because they're both so... They're both so narcissistic and egotistical, and just, like, they're kind of shitty people. Especially Kaguya. Kaguya's, like...
Oh yeah, she's
not a very good friend.
Like when she got the love letter thing. Wait, did she send it to herself? No, that was
that was an actual love letter. So that guy.
Yeah, she was like, oh, as if you could start by like offering me a country and then groveling at my feet, then maybe I think about it.
And they're both just super egotistic. Like, oh, clearly the other one's gonna make a move on me because I'm perfect and they want me and everyone loves me.
Yeah.
So just seeing them be like super narcissistic about it. And then the perfect, what I think is my favorite character in the show, even though I love Kaguya and the president, but my favorite character is Fujiwara. She is just the perfect contrast to everything else that's going on.
Yeah, she's so just like clueless about what's going on. Yet she's not a complete like ditz. Like she's not like
she's not stupid. She's just not involved in these mental mind games that are going on around her.
And they had that whole fight over like the bun. Like because they're both out trying to outthink each other, and then they both are just like, oh, we need sugar to keep thinking, and she just takes the bun and just eats it herself.
I also love the way she always plays some role in like sabotaging one of them, like whether it be the bun thing or the bento box.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
That was such a great scene. Kaguya was, you prideless parasite cow bitch, I hate you.
Yeah. And then it turned around and it's Kaguya was the one, not Kaguya. What's her name? Fujiwara was like the only one being nice to her. Like she's like, oh, and then feed you some of my bento.
They're so fickle.
They really are. They're really like teenagers in that way. I love it.
Mm-hmm. There's just so many like points of the show that I'm just like, oh, but this is so good, and it's just hilarious. Also, the animation is great. I love the transitions, just like the little art style changes, the faces, the Kaguya faces every now and then are fucking Kakegurui level almost with their
yeah they are. They have some good Kakegurui faces.
So everything about this show is just like style and fun and just over the topness and personified. I will say I don't think it's for everyone because it's really formulaic and like you know what the setup is going to be every it does throw curveballs, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know, they're both trying to do something to get the other one to fall in love with the other one. And Fujiwara always ruins it somehow. And the narrator narrates a lot.
Yeah.
So
like constantly.
And even the first like 5 minutes of the second episode were just a recap of the first
I remember
episode.
when we were watching, I kept asking Oni, I was like, is this the same episode?
Yeah, and I was like, wait, what? Is this, you're watching the same thing? So, it does get meta like that, which I like, but I can see some people being like, oh, this is just filler and a waste of time. So,
yeah.
I guess you have to be open to that type of thing. If those small things don't bother you, I think, great start for a show.
If you have the ability to skip ahead, you'll be...
If you are living in the modern era and you can skip 5 minutes into a video, perfect show.
Exactly. Also, yeah, I think overall this is very strong. This is gonna be very strong for like a rom-com.
Mm-hmm. And this just we by the way, we chose between this and 5 Toban, the quintuplet anime, which I think was fine. I think that show was decent too, but this
it was decent, but it was just decent. This was like exceptional.
Yeah, pretty much. So I think we sucked this show off enough.
Yep. Speaking of Kakegurui
Goodness.
faces, that too, Kakegurui episode 2, which is basically more or less just like it's a transition episode, or still an introduction episode that, usually we get episode 1, but they decided to give it episode 2 instead.
Yeah.
And then you see basically the conclusion of the games that they were playing, which are a big show. It's actually really funny how they ended the game.
With I forget her name all the fucking time. Crazy bitch with an eye patch.
Yes, her Ikishima.
I'm totally never gonna remember that name.
Yeah, I literally just looked at my notes.
I love the way that they told it though, like them jumping forward in time and telling, they started it off with the bet, then they rewind it back all the way to the whole introduction of the arc, and then they fast forwarded mid-episode to the end of the game that they opened with. So it was a really snazzy way of opening the show.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. The little girl who lost. And then, at some point she gets her second one, and she's like, yeah, I'm the heiress of torture. And she grows a pair. Mm-hmm. And then of course, Ikishima just ruins it all, and she's like, fuck it, I just want to chop my hands off with
as usual.
I'll chop my hands off with
Yumeko.
With Yumeko, thank you.
I love that Yumeko's... I think part of my joy for this show, or my love of this show, besides the faces, which, by the way, they're going ham with the faces this season. All of the Yumeko faces, all of the lowly faces where she's, snot is dribbling out of her nose, and she's crying,
and she's, drooling.
And drooling all over the place. Yeah, those are all 10 out of 10. But I love...
100%.
I love Yumeko's reactions to just the characters, her reaction to seeing Mary, where she gets all happy and tries to hug her, and then her reaction to seeing Ikishima, where she's like, "Oh, you piece of shit, I hate you."
Yeah, she's like, "I hate you. You're the worst.
Don't ever show your face to me again."
Oh God, that's what she said. Ikishima almost cried, which was so funny. That scene where she just "Oh my God, that's Gamble," and that one scene where you see the full body shot, and she's grabbing her titty for some reason.
Yeah. I feel like this season, I feel like the first season, they're like, all right, are people gonna like this? Are we gonna get by on having a whole show based on over the top gambling and faces? And then this season, they're like, yeah, we can do it, and they're just going overboard with how much Yumeko's overreactions and faces and all this other crazy shit.
I'm literally just I feel oh my God, you know what would be so great? I just thought about it. So, you know how, you remember playing Operation?
Yeah.
I did that with the real body.
That'd be awesome.
And they just gamble out.
We opened the series with finger slicing, so we can only go up from here.
But I feel like they would do that. I feel like that could be a season finale where they're just
That'd be awesome.
All right.
It'd be really, really dark, but it'd be awesome.
Oh, it'd be really dark. I think we passed that point when we met the girl who likes collecting fingernails.
True.
Yeah, it'd just be I removed the the duodenum correctly. Actually, that'd be incredibly hard to do. I removed the kidney. Would a kidney be?
Wait, which is the easiest part of the operation thing to get out? I always forget.
Oh, I don't know. I've never played that game. I'm talking about like a real human body. An appendix? I'm probably like, I call.
I don't feel like any part of the body would be easy to extract on a real human body.
Oh, well, I'm assuming this is going to be like a dead body, and then they're just going to be like, oh, well, this is the best removed part, so you win however much money, and so on and so forth. I don't know. We'll work out the rules.
Yeah, we'll talk with the creators of the show and see if we get something going for the 12th episode.
Exactly.
We got a bombshell revelation. Apparently, Yumiko is part of the president's family, or extended family. Yeah.
They are very, very, very distantly related.
Mm-hmm. So, which makes me think there might be some kind of like motive involved in all this whole thing with Yumiko. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It does give motive.
Family related, because they went into detail about how her family's, mysterious. And they don't have information on it. So I don't know. Maybe her family was like banished from the clan. And
they referenced her sister once. If not in this episode, then they did at some point last season.
Yeah, I feel like they did do that last season.
And I was just like, file that away for another day.
Yeah, I'm curious where the actual plot of the story has gotten me kind of interested. Like this whole family it almost feels like a mafia thing, like a Yakuza drama.
Yeah. Also, I love how the girl in the wheelchair, she's like, she feels so formidable. Like,
she's the baddest bitch.
Yeah, she really is. She's just like, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate you. Like, just the way you fucking do everything.
You know what happens?
The worst.
If she actually stands up from the wheelchair and is like, this wheelchair has been, I only have this to limit myself, or some shit like that, like some crazy over the top anime shit, then I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna be so
that's gonna be our automatic episode of the week.
It's gonna be like that Piccolo moment where he takes off his fucking hat and everything, and it's all weighted down. He's like, these were just for training.
But yeah, everything's very interesting. The whole family's interesting. The butler.
Yeah, I'm like personalities.
Yeah, I wonder when the butler's gonna kill someone, because I feel like they're like, oh, we bought an ace in the hole or a Joker just in case. I'm like, okay, so she's literally just a murderer.
Yeah, I feel like there's some strange shit about her. I also want to see the Gyaru girl who's like super genki and hype and stuff, because I know she's gonna have the craziest sadistic face in the plot. I want to see that. I can't wait for her.
Oh my god, when she fucking gets all like crazy face, that bitch is gonna look like a Picasso.
I love that the big appeal of the show is like, I can't wait to see their faces when they're fucking going crazy. Also, rip for the student council, because they're getting destroyed by the Jabami family.
Oh, yeah. I mean, were you surprised? Especially that one girl who's like, "Oh my god, you can't do this to us!" No,
no.
I love how she literally collapsed.
Call the hospital. Get an ambulance. She lost on a bet.
Oh yeah, and apparently Yumiko has all that guy's money from like last season.
Yeah, which is glad they followed up on that.
Yeah, and his hair turned white. I forgot about that happening. I didn't know you can go Super Saiyan from losing.
Yeah, he reversed Ultra Instinct.
All right. That was awful. That was awful. I was gonna say yes. He went from normal form to hospice. That was horrible. I'm sorry.
You should feel bad for yourself. But
okay,
not as bad as I'm gonna feel, because now we have domestic Kanojo episode.
Oh, how did I almost go completely walk over that? Like I totally skipped over that and went straight to leftovers, and I'm like, wait a minute.
We still got that in Boogiebop before we get to the leftovers.
Whoops. I also don't know where to start.
I feel like when I say my thing, you're gonna be like flipping out at me. So maybe you should go first.
So there, I will say I really did love the dialogue in the middle of the episode where they start like talking back and forth with each other. And I'm just like, wait, this is actually good writing.
That was the best scene in the episode.
That was
great.
That was great. The rest of it, however, it's not even like the rest of it. That's okay. It's a little too much. But there's like a lot of parts where I'm just like, dot. This is they leave me saying going like dot dot dot, and I'm just all the scenes with Hina. I feel like the writers are kind of just making up Hina's character as they go along.
I can kind of see that. I really see that.
With the exception of, well, okay, no matter what we were making her character into, she's an alcoholic.
Make sure alcohol is in every single. I'm half expecting like her to be walking into class and just like pulling a flask out of her shirt pocket, and, like drinking it.
Like out of her bra.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a hardcore alcoholic.
I know Oni's going to disagree because he hates he hates every female character that I love. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I did like when they went more into detail into like humanizing Rui. Like I don't know. I feel like this episode they made her slightly less of a trope and more of a person. Mm-hmm. Like, at the first episode, I was like, okay, she's going to be that girl who's just, like, a bitch. Because, I don't know, she had it pretty rough. And then this episode, that's, like, not the case. They're like, no, I'm just kind of socially awkward because I don't know how to talk to people. And I'm just, like, bluntly, brutally honest.
Yeah.
And so it's not just like, oh, I'm just treating the main dude like he's an asshole because we had sex. No, it was like, this is just the way I am. This is the way I talk. Not so. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of kissed my ass. Like at this.
What, you don't like him?
He's just. He reminds you a lot of Makoto from School Days.
Really?
This episode he did. So I'm saying for last episode, but more so this episode. The way he's just like talking to them, like that way that Makoto's being an asshole because he's just totally unaware of what he's doing and how it affects it. It's ironic. He's telling Rui how to like talk to people, mm-hmm. and yet in the same episode he also fucks up talking to Rui, because specifically in the beginning where he's very much like, oh, so remember how we like fucked and now we're like siblings and stuff, so maybe we should just like, you know, not mention anything, just don't say anything, blah blah blah. And then Rui's like, oh, so basically that's your way of saying let's not talk to each other at school. And I'm like, but that's not a wrong conclusion to jump to. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I also gleaned that he was saying that as well.
I feel like, he had bad communication, and also I feel like that was an unnecessary statement. Like, let's not talk about the fact that we fucked and that we're now brothers.
Yeah, I'm like, no.
Like, okay, that's not how hi, my name is Rui, and I fucked my stepbrother.
Exactly. Like, she's not a fucking child. She's definitely more mature about this stuff. No, to be fair, more than you.
As socially awkward as she is, that might be the right conclusion to jump to.
Exactly. Like, she's not going to say that. Like, Jesus. And then, like, the whole thing at the end with Natsu and Hina, that whole scene just like, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
So, your overall take is ... because you felt bored, or ... because you felt like this is all unnecessary?
Like a little bit of both. Like, the only thing that saves this episode for me is literally that funny dialogue and like humanizing Rui to make her not one-dimensional. Like, that's the only thing that saves it, because I love Rui. This episode just made me like her even more. Because it made me like her more, literally because in comparison, the other two characters aren't that great.
All right,
Hana. I'm sorry.
Can I say my controversial thing? Because trust me, I'm going to jump on Hana too. But I really like this episode. Because this is the one thing that Kuzu no Honkai didn't have, which is an episode that humanizes them and makes everyone feel like a regular person and not some drama machine. Except for Hina, she feels like a giant drama machine. But
I'm like, hello.
Rui, I actually really, 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 really liked this episode. Because, I was under the impression she was just a cold bitch last time, and now she actually was more just a socially awkward, I don't know how to deal with this type of shut-in-esque character. So I'm kind of like, okay, I can relate to that. I can relate to her being socially awkward and not knowing how to get friends and communicate. This is exactly what Kuzu no Honkai needed. But anyway, I digress. I'm not going to say she's definitely... I'm not getting off her back just yet because I know what type of show this is. I'm sure 2 episodes from now, Rui's going to do some dumb shit and I'm going to hate her again. But for now, I like her. She's off my shit list. And she's probably my favorite character on the show right now.
She always was mine.
The whole class skit was great. The going back and forth was so well written and so fun.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she was able to show that she was vulnerable, like in the bathroom scene and all of that. Like she got a little bit shy and all that, so that was cute. What else do I want to say about this? I actually have a note that I wanted to get to. I really found, so I found it super meta, that moment in the kitchen with Hina and the main character. And she's like, oh, I'm your big sister. We can talk about any problem you have. If you have a problem, we can talk about it. If I have a problem, we're a big family. We're all going to talk and have a good time and help each other out. And then he's like, you want to talk about your ex-boyfriend? And she's like, accept that. So I just feel like that is this show in a nutshell, in that a lot of these issues can be solved if people just talk about them. But then the teacher just shuts it down. Like, no, we're not talking about that. We're gonna keep it a drama mystery.
It's not even a mystery. It's just ... Like that's literally how I feel. It's literally how I feel about, like, they just don't know where they're going with Hina, or it just feels very ambiguous and not in a good way.
I feel like Hina's a plot device at this point. Like, she's just there.
And it feels bad because I feel like they can make her character so much better. Like the structure, the groundwork is so firm that they could just make her so good, but yet they're just like doing nothing with it.
I feel like if she wasn't in the show, I would like it 10 times more as just like a romantic story between Rui and the main character, but Hina's kind of just messing it up by inserting her own personal drama in between the two of them. Like the whole boyfriend thing when she leaves the house and like, oh, I have to go see my boyfriend because
totally not invested in that.
Yeah, I am, only because I want to see what the fuck is happening. Like, I honestly thought her boyfriend was beating her because I thought she was going to come back in and her face was going to be like a black eye or something.
What?
That's what I thought was going to happen. Especially when Rui came downstairs and looked like, who the fuck's at the door? Move over, I'm opening the door. I thought some shit was going to fly. That was a good fake out, by the way, with the parents coming in.
Yeah, that was.
Even though it makes no sense from a logistical standpoint, I feel like the parents, they arrived 2 seconds after the boyfriend left.
Yeah, I guess so.
Impeccable timing.
It is impeccable timing. This shit happens. Also, I feel like Rui definitely took everything like the wrong way, like the way they were all like frazzled and not answering the door. I think she's going to assume that, like, oh, you guys didn't answer the door because you guys were having a hot, steamy moment or something. Maybe. And I really hope this anime does not boil down to that, where they keep getting
misunderstandings.
Yeah, like, I don't want it to be School Rumble. Don't make this School Rumble. Kaguya-sama can do School Rumble.
If anything, the teacher's going to make the School Rumble because she's the only one that...
Yeah,
Rui is kind of up front. Rui was
exactly.
Like, listen, why are you kissing my sister? And I actually like that scene, too, in the bathroom, where she's like, you want to talk about why you were trying to kiss my sister? I know it's not comfortable to talk about that in the living room, so let's do it in here.
Exactly. Like, she's... In some ways, she's more tactful than Natsu. In a lot of ways, she's more tactful than Natsu. Natsu's just a bumbling Makoto MC.
I don't hate him as much as you do. I just think he's incompetent.
Well, that's because I hate Makoto, and this guy just reminds me at base level. He reminds me of Makoto so much.
Makoto was super selfish and malicious to that extent. I just feel like this guy's incompetent.
Well, I mean, like okay, early on Makoto. I think early on Makoto, he was just like naive,
like
stupid. Like Makoto before episode 5, school days.
Mm-hmm. Yes, if Natsuo, if Rui and Hina just start fucking Natsuo, and then Natsuo is like, oh, I can fuck anybody I want, then yeah, I agree.
Oh my god.
Which also, I will if Hina fucks Natsuo, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is, you know what, I'm gonna call this right now. Prediction time. Hina is gonna get drunk. She's gonna vent about her boyfriend to Natsuo, and then she's gonna be like, "Let me have sex with you to get back at him," and that's gonna be what happens.
And then they're gonna be interrupted by Rui.
And then they're gonna be interrupted by Rui. Yes. That would be the springboard for the rest of the series.
Well, like I said, we are here for the trash.
Yep.
Well, but speaking of, actually, speaking of the opposite of trash, let's talk about Boogiebop, episode 4.
Start of a new arc.
With this new being, sentient being named Imaginator.
I thought I was watching Index for a minute with those names.
It really is.
But then it made sense, and I was like, oh, good, it's not Index.
I know, it made more sense than Index. I mean, that being said, I still don't know what's going on.
I don't, but I'm so intrigued by it.
Yeah, I don't, but I know enough.
Yeah, it does such a good job of, like, even though I kind of wish we covered this show every other week. You know what I mean? Because I feel like just based off this episode, I don't know enough to accurately say anything about this arc. I feel like we need another episode or two before we are like, okay, I get what's going on. Like, I know that the character, the main character of this arc, I forgot his name. Atsukai, yes. I know his ability and everything, but I can't grasp him as a character yet. I don't know how I feel about him.
I mean, aside him turning into like fucking Lelouch at the last
you know what? It's kind of weird because he looks like Light from like his actual character looks like Light, and then he had those light, like at the last scene of the show, he kind of had those light moments.
You're absolutely right. But yeah, he was. I don't know. It was very like, it's ironic. I can see what people are missing in their hearts, even though, like, there's plenty missing from my heart as well. Like, and the Imaginator is like, hey, do some stuff. I feel like he misinterpreted. I'm sorry. There's just like a car's honked and said, "Let me totally destroy your train of thought." But what was I gonna say? When he saw the premonition that Imaginator got him, I feel like were you also misled by that, thinking like, or just essentially didn't know? Cause I'm like, okay, is he gonna harm people in some way? Because he has a scary face, so he looks like he's fucking people up.
I did not know exactly what it meant. I thought it was gonna be something like, like he's the catalyst that brings about some kind of giant bad thing that happens, like a bunch of deaths or something.
Yeah. And he could be.
Oh, if the ending was any indication, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of really like the premise of this arc because I like the Imaginator itself, like the fact that it can go into anyone's body and like take over them and have this kind of conversation with the character. I think that's really cool. Like the whole scene with the drug dealer at the end was really good. I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, whoo! I was like, yikes! They're putting in drug dealers in this episode. Like, ooh.
They like their drug dealers in Boogiepop. Last arc had a whole drug dealing side.
Oh, they did.
I feel like every arc's gonna revolve around different drug dealers.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then And then it was like so cool when she was like, did you say something to her? She seemed really at peace. So I guess what Imaginator did was like basically awaken his abilities.
Power. I like that the police bought his story. like, oh, she attacked you and then slit her throat.
I mean, that's more or less what happened.
It is, but I'm just saying, if I was the police, I'm like, all right, so you're saying she attacked you and then slit her throat? I don't know, I'd be a little bit more suspicious about that. It would take more than just a 5-minute talking session.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't, like, let him
I wouldn't be like, oh, you're free to go. We know who did it. You're good. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
I'd be like, I at least want to be like, all right, well, we're gonna, investigate you a bit.
Well, they said there was a witness.
Yeah. I guess. Still, it was just funny. But yeah, no, I like him. I guess I like him. I don't know. I liked him before he turned into fucking light, I guess. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I'm sure the next episode is going to be told from, like, someone else's perspective, like the last arc was.
Yeah, like a school student or something like that.
Maybe his neighbor that was there.
Yeah. Also, they did... I totally forgot this about it because they never referenced it again. But apparently, this being was mentioned in Nagi's dad's books.
Oh yeah, which makes me think that maybe
her dad's involved in all of this somehow.
Yeah. And which means Nagi's probably going to show up again too. Like she might be one of the central characters who just like keeps recurring.
I hope so. She's cool.
Yep. All right. Well, that's that. So look forward to the rest of that arc. Let's move on to Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 15.
I don't have a lot to say about this episode, to be honest.
Well, first, let me change the slide. But to be honest, yeah, me either. It kind of was just a wrap-up episode.
Very much so.
I'm glad that they made an alliance with the orcs, the orcs, right? Yeah, orcs.
Yeah, and the lizard men.
Yep, and the lizard men, which is kind of like, you see, that's the thing though. Like, remember last week I said I kind of don't see them doing that because the whole thing with the orcs killing all the lizard men and all the ogres, I just feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity where it's just like, oh, we're all friends now. And like they briefly touched on it where it's like, are you guys okay with that? And they're like, yeah, we're chill with this.
Yeah, it was a little, there should have been like a little more resistance. Like maybe like episode or two of like, no, we're not doing this because kind of killed a lot of our people.
And I think that's one of the things, like, if I'm comparing Isekai, like, I'm going to compare this to Yuusha, where this is one of those things where it's just, like, too convenient for the main character. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, of course, everything plays out this way because it needs to for the sake of the main character being able to have his army to fight everybody and all this shit. So, a little bit too convenient. It broke my suspension of belief a bit.
Yeah, it was a little too neat.
I did love the nation building aspect. Like, I love that. Yeah. I love the whole, I'm building up an army and a state and a nation, and we're going to make alliances and peace treaties and enter wars.
And all this technology and aqueducts and sewage system.
Which he must have been the supreme contractor because he knows how to build aqueducts and fucking sewer systems and all this shit.
Yeah. I mean, the sewage system is one thing, but like building like
a giant Roman aqueduct,
yeah, that's impressive.
Very well done. No books necessary or anything, just off memory. He knew how to build a Roman aqueduct. Well, he has as many OP skills, so he probably just knew.
He ate one of the orcs that the demon lord orc knew how to make aqueducts.
Yeah. Thank goodness for that.
Gabiru was kicked out and exiled. I like that because I'm like, yes, I'm glad he didn't just come back home. You're like, oh, we understand what you did. Come back home. I'm like, no, you put your dad in jail. fuck out of here.
I do like. I hope he kind of shows up again. Like he's just roams around and he just shows up at some other later point.
I think he will. Because like in the opening, I think I could have sworn I saw Gabiru in this town. That's why that's why I wasn't surprised when he was gonna get exiled.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that's how he ends up in that town because he's gonna get exiled from his own village.
Oh, by the way, new opening was awesome. Loved it.
I didn't see all of it, but yeah, from what I saw, it was good.
And there's also a lot of the pink-haired girl that's in the promo image appeared a lot in the opening fighting Rimuru, so which makes me think maybe she's bad or good or bad that turns good. But either way, I'm hyped because I think she's going to play a big role in the next arc since she was so heavily featured in the opening. So that makes me excited.
Yes, you're excited to see her. Dwarf King
shows up and
like, hey, let's have a sword fight.
Well, that's another thing that's like, now he has a treaty with the that nation and his best friends with the Dwarf King. I don't know, all this stuff is just like, okay.
In my mind, I'm like, the only thing that can make this like really awesome having all this manpower is literally if like Ainz attacks their kingdom.
Yeah, like some big shit needs to happen next episode because right now things are just going well. Like everybody's like, and this good thing happened, and then this good thing happened, and then Rimuru was Chancellor of the Forest, and then
there was no conflict ever again.
No one was ever unhappy or had to struggle again.
No conflict.
So I don't know. I'm hoping that this demon lord that they showed in the episode with the clown demon comes up and is like, all right, time to fuck up Rimuru's shit, and brings this army of demon clowns to fight Rimuru or something.
Yeah, I see what's gonna happen.
Probably. All right, shall we move on to a show I have even less to talk about?
It's just, I want to say last but not least, but I'm not sure if that's a lie.
Well, it is Aru Majitsu no Index episode 15. Woo! Talk about a disappointing season for Index.
So Group is back.
Group? Was that one of the groups, or are you saying that?
That's Group, that's their name, Group. That's their name, Group.
Very creative. Original, good idea.
Basically, I feel like this is just like a recap episode. This is like another recap episode from like the last arc that involved them.
It's like a direct continuation from them.
Exactly. Like, oh, here's what happened to these guys since we last left off.
I did like the focus on the blonde-haired guy and the other girl, the middle schooler. Apparently now she's the main character, I guess, for this arc.
Rinu Hada.
Yeah. She was cute.
Yeah.
And look, they answered your question about the Aztec girl. Or Mayan girl, or whatever she was.
What was my question?
Whatever happened to her. They didn't show the fight on screen.
Oh, yeah. She's alive. Woo. I'm really struggling to like say something. That's just not me bashing this episode.
I mean, go ahead and bash the episode. I feel like that's better than saying anything else. The only thing I liked about this episode was the fact that there was a bunch of fan service, and that's about it.
Yeah, like it seemed kind of like slice of life-ish. It's like that would kind of work if there wasn't literally just like so much murder at the same time, and also I feel like it's not really leading anywhere. They have a new villain that's probably gonna fuck shit up.
What was her name? It was like Stephanie Gorgeous Palace.
Something like that.
I am Stephanie Gorgeous Palace.
Gorgeous, beautiful bourgeoisie, bitch. Like,
I'm like, all right, Index, you're not even trying anymore. It's just whatever. You reached into a bag and pulled out fucking random names and stuck them together.
Yeah, but now he's like, oh, by the way, all the members from that shit show All Out Rumble from the last arc, they're all gonna be working in a group to kill some terrorists. Go! Like,
actually, I'm mad about that because they were like, "Oh, all the remnants of the other groups are all together now, and we're fighting terrorists." And that's actually a cool concept. Like, if this episode was just about the remnants of the other organizations, like school and group and whatever the hell else they have, having to be forced to work together, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. I'm like, oh, cool. I learned more about these side characters that I've only seen once or twice.
Too bad that's not
this episode. Nope. I hate that they do this.
They just briefly mentioned it and panned on somewhere else. Apparently, when you refuse to not kill terrorists, they are like, oh, well, we're gonna just kill you until
we're gonna kill you because you won't kill the terrorists.
Boom. Like, no, she volunteered to go out there by herself.
Fuck you, you can't freelance.
Exactly. And I'm just like,
the internal logic of Index doesn't really make much sense to me. And again, I'm gonna chalk this up to the anime just being super rushed and not knowing what the hell. Like, I feel like even without reading the books, I can make a way better paced anime than whatever the hell they're doing. Like, all the random Accelerator moments, I don't know. Like, I like Accelerator, but just seeing him on screen kill somebody and then swap to somebody else's perspective, and then swap back to Accelerator killing somebody, and then swap to somebody doing their laundry, and then swap, like, it's too much. Too many things going on at once. Focus on one person for one episode, and then do like Boogiebop does.
Yeah. And it's like, even if there was like a lot of action going on, I would say at least in the last one when these people were like involved, at least like I feel like there was a lot more like stuff happening. I feel like they just keep panning to like random shit, and I'm just like, this doesn't justify you panning everywhere. Like what? Like
it just needs to be slower. Like, an episode dedicated to Accelerator. Like, if any of these sections of this episode were their own episode, I would have been fine with it. Accelerator working with his organization, which I forgot their name. I really don't remember their fucking names.
Group?
Is it Group? Alright, fine.
Yeah.
Working with Group. Accelerator working with Group.
Group is Accelerator, Tsuchimikado, the other girl.
The redhead twin tails.
And the Aztec dude.
So, Group, if one episode was just about Group and them setting up their sting operation, and the next episode, by the way, Shuten is saying hi, and the next episode was about the other remnants of the other organizations working together, and then the girl breaking apart and doing her own thing, and then them hunting her down, that'd be cool. But trying to mix all these things in the one episode and then jumping around just is confusing.
Yeah, there's no real cohesion in this plot or arc or whatever the fuck you want to call it at this point. Like, literally talking about, like, I'm exhausted. My head hurts thinking about it.
And it's funny because the other Index seasons were like this to a degree where it's like there's a lot of stuff that, like, you need to be aware of a lot of information. You need to they do a lot of jumping around and it's pretty fast paced, but it still managed to make sense to some degree.
Yeah.
And it was entertaining. This just feels like a mess.
Yeah, this is really messy. Yeah, JC staff, get it together.
Yes, please. At least do something with these last few episodes. Alright. And I think that about wraps it up for this week in anime. What do I have to do for an outro? Right. If you guys want, you can subscribe for future episodes, as well as leave a like on the video. Also join the party over our Discord. Chill with us on Twitch. No, it's join the party on Twitch and chill with us. I haven't done an outro in so fucking long. Jesus Christ. And follow us on Twitter. And if you want to go the extra mile, make sure you donate to us on Patreon, like these lovely patrons on screen right now who make this lovely show possible. And Drew, you have anything you'd like to add?
I hope next week is better. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Honestly, I think this week was fine, just aside from a couple of shows. Like, aside from Index, Slime, and actually no, I think everything else was fine. I guess Kanojo.
I don't know.
But I kind of like that Kanojo. So
I feel like I just have to adjust from like the quality of like fall.
Oh well, yeah, you got to realign your expectations.
Yeah, like this is a huge. It's like especially with like the episodes that really sucked today. It was like a culture shock.
Yeah, well, highs and lows of a new season and all that.
Yep.
And with that, this has been Soberoni.
And Drooby Doo.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Later.
Bye.